Lesson 13, Side 2.
Questions and answers. Bob and Jim are university students. Bob wants to meet Miss Wu, a foreign student, but he doesn't know how. He asks Jim's help. Listen.
Who's that new student, Jim? Do you know?
Yes, I know who she is, Bob. That's Lydia Wu. She's in some of my classes.
Where's she from?
I'm not sure where she's from. She's from somewhere in the Far East, but I don't know where. I've never asked her.
What language does she speak?
Well, her English is very good, but I don't know what her native language is. I've never heard her speak it.
What's she studying, do you know?
I'm not sure what she's studying. She's in some of my science classes, but I don't know if science is her major subject.
Where's she living?
I don't know where she lives. I suppose she lives in the dormitory, but I have no way of knowing. Why are you asking all these questions?
I'd like to meet her. Don't you think we should take an interest in the foreign students studying here?
By all means.
Let's invite her to dinner with us some night, shall we?
That's a good idea. The sooner the better.
What's the best night for you?
I'm not sure what the best night would be. I have exams Thursday and Friday. Let's make it on the weekend if possible.
Will you invite her?
Yes, but I'm not sure when I can do it. I guess I'll try to see her after science class today.
Will you call me then?
Of course. As soon as it's arranged, I'll give you a ring.
Good. Now, if you can get June to go with you, I'll take Miss Wu.
Oh, no. I knew you had something up your sleeve.
Practice drills and exercises 2. 1. Countries, nationalities, languages. Take the part of speaker B. Follow the models. Listen.
1. Finland. What are people from Finland called?
They're called Finns.
They're called Finns.
They're called Finns.
What language do they speak?
They speak Finnish.
They speak Finnish.
They speak Finnish.
2. Norway. What are people from Norway called?
They're called Norwegians.
They're called Norwegians.
They're called Norwegians.
What language do they speak?
They speak Norwegian.
They speak Norwegian.
They speak Norwegian.
Now you do the exercise.
3. Denmark. What are people from Denmark called?
They're called Danes.
What language do they speak?
They speak Danish.
4. Sweden. What are people from Sweden called?
They're called Swedes.
What language do they speak?
They speak Swedish.
5. Spain. What are people from Spain called?
They're called Spaniards.
What language do they speak?
They speak Spanish.
6. Korea. What are people from Korea called?
They're called Koreans.
What language do they speak?
They speak Korean.
7. Italy. What are people from Italy called?
They're called Italians.
What language do they speak?
They speak Italian.
8. Greece. What are people from Greece called?
They're called Greeks.
What language do they speak?
They speak Greek.
9. Poland. What are people from Poland called?
They're called Poles.
What language do they speak?
They speak Polish.
10. The Netherlands. What are people from the Netherlands called?
They're called Dutch.
What language do they speak?
They speak Dutch.
11. Turkey. What are people from Turkey called?
They're called Turks.
What language do they speak?
They speak Turkish.
12. Brazil. What are people from Brazil called?
They're called Brazilians.
What language do they speak?
They speak Portuguese.
13. France. What are people from France called?
They're called French.
What language do they speak?
They speak French.
14. Burma. What are people from Burma called?
They're called Burmese.
What language do they speak?
They speak Burmese.
2. Irregular verbs. Memorize these verb forms. Base form,
lead,
past form,
led,
participle.
led,
Repeat, please.
lead, led, led,
Let, let, let.
lie down, lie, lay, lain,
Quit, quit, quit.
spread, spread, spread,
Stand up. Stand, stood, stood. Examples. Repeat, please.
I led the way,
He let me come with him.
I lay down for an hour,
Why has he quit studying?
some languages have spread over wide areas,
I stood up when they called my name.
Fill the blanks with one of the above verbs. 1. There were no empty seats on the bus. I stood all the way home.
2. Mrs. Filbert was tired, so she lay down for a while before getting dinner.
3. Everyone else was afraid to go up the mountain, so I led the way.
4. He got mad at his boss and quit.
5. The floodwaters spread over much of the surrounding farmland.
6. Johnny wanted to go play ball, but his mother wouldn't let him.
7. We spread a blanket on the ground and had a picnic.
8. When I stood on his shoulders, I could see several peaks on the mainland.
'Pronunciation. Practice 1. When a term of direct address is used with the declarative intonation pattern, the name is spoken as a separate phrase. It is commonly said on the pitch 2 level with a slight rise at the end. Repeat the sentences.
Good morning, Miss Hewitt. When did you come, Mrs. Sharp?
The meaning of the sentences in A and B below is different. Listen.
A. I can't see Mary. B.
I can't see Mary.
He doesn't know Bob.
He doesn't know Bob.
I can't remember Charles.
I can't remember Charles.
She hasn't written Bill.
She hasn't written Bill. Now repeat.
I can't see Mary.
I can't see Mary.
He doesn't know Bob.
He doesn't know Bob.
I can't remember Charles.
I can't remember Charles.
She hasn't written Bill.
She hasn't written Bill. Practice 2. In writing, an author often follows a quotation by an expression such as, he said, they told everyone, etc. In reading aloud, these expressions are said as an extension of the intonation pattern of the quoted sentence. For example, an expression following a declarative intonation pattern that ends on pitch 1 is said as a separate phrase on the pitch 1 level. Listen.
When are you going? Tom asked.
Tomorrow, Jane replied.
We're tired, they told us.
We're very tired, they repeated.
Why can't you go? He asked me.
Because I've no money, I said. Now repeat.
When are you going? Tom asked.
Tomorrow, Jane replied.
We're tired, they told us.
We're very tired, they repeated.
Why can't you go? He asked me.
Because I've no money, I said. After a term of direct address used on the pitch 2 level, the expression is spoken on the 2 level with a rise at the end. Listen.
Stand up, Bill, the teacher said.
Get in the car, children, Mrs. Smith said.
Listen to me, Mary, Mrs. White said.
Now repeat, please.
Stand up, Bill, the teacher said.
Get in the car, children, Mrs. Smith said.
Listen to me, Mary, Mrs. White said.
Practice 3. Read these sentences.
1. Good evening, Dr. Niles.
2. We're coming at 4, they said.
3. He doesn't know Miss Long.
4. He doesn't know Miss Long.
5. I don't see anyone, she answered.
6. When can you come to dinner, Mr. Smith? She asked. Now repeat, please.
1. Good evening, Dr. Niles.
2. We're coming at 4, they said.
3. He doesn't know Miss Long.
4. He doesn't know Miss Long.
5. I don't see anyone, she answered.
6. When can you come to dinner, Mr. Smith? She asked.
Practice drills and exercises 3. 1. Direct and reported speech. Listen.
Direct statement.
I'm sorry, Tom said. Mary can't go, Bill told me.
Reported statement.
Tom said he was sorry. Bill told me Mary couldn't go.
Speaker A. Ask what was said. Take the part of Speaker B. Report what was said. Listen to the models.
1. I'm glad to hear that, Lisa said.
What did Lisa say?
She said she was glad to hear that.
She said she was glad to hear that.
She said she was glad to hear that.
2. I'm sorry, Tom said to Helen.
What did Tom say to Helen?
He said he was sorry. Or he told her he was sorry.
He said he was sorry. Or he told her he was sorry.
He said he was sorry. Or he told her he was sorry.
Now do the exercise.
3. I'm glad, Mary said.
What did Mary say?
She said she was glad. 4. I had to study last night, Tom said.
What did Tom say?
He said he had to study last night. 5. Learning a foreign language is worthwhile, Charles said.
What did Charles say?
He said learning a foreign language was worthwhile. 6. It requires constant practice, he said.
What did he say?
He said it required constant practice. 7. I wasn't born in Sweden, Helen said.
What did Helen say?
She said she wasn't born in Sweden. 8. We're studying about Greece in school, they said.
What did they say?
They said they were studying about Greece in school. 9. I'll call Bob soon, Steve said.
What did Steve say?
He said he would call Bob soon. 10. I want to tell you something, Judy said to Anne.
What did Judy say to Anne?
She said she wanted to tell her something.
2. Reported speech. Report the following statements that Billy made to his mother this morning. Listen to the model.
1. I'm tired.
He said he was tired.
He said he was tired.
He said he was tired.
Now do the exercise.
2. I won't get up.
He said he wouldn't get up.
3. I'm not going to eat anything.
He said he wasn't going to eat anything.
4. I'm not hungry.
He said he wasn't hungry.
5. I don't want to wash my face and hands.
He said he didn't want to wash his face and hands.
6. I won't go to school today.
He said he wouldn't go to school today. Report the statements that Mr. Norris made to his wife on the telephone. Listen to the model.
1. I only have a few minutes to talk.
He said he only had a few minutes to talk.
He said he only had a few minutes to talk.
He said he only had a few minutes to talk.
Now you do the exercise.
2. I have to work late.
He said he had to work late.
3. I won't be home for dinner.
He said he wouldn't be home for dinner.
4. I'll be attending a meeting.
He said he'd be attending a meeting.
5. I may have to work until midnight.
He said he might have to work until midnight.
6. I can be home by 1 a.m.
He said he could be home by 1 a.m.
7. I'll take a cab home.
He said he'd take a cab home.
8. I'll make out all right.
He said he'd make out all right.
Vocabulary study. Learn as much about the words language, speech, and talk, noun, as you can. Study these definitions before using one of the words to complete each sentence below. Also, use a dictionary if necessary.
Language. Human communication by means of spoken, written, or gesture symbols. Speech. Spoken language. Talk. Noun. Information of uncertain value.
Now listen to the model.
1. Mr. Cohen is hard to understand. The illness has affected his...
Mr. Cohen is hard to understand. The illness has affected his speech. Now you do the exercise.
2. The of love is universal, say the poets.
The language of love is universal, say the poets.
3. The of Boston is sometimes considered to be more cultured than that of other places.
The speech of Boston is sometimes considered to be more cultured than that of other places.
Four, her father punished her because she used impolite.
Her father punished her because she used impolite language.
Five, that author shows that he knows prison.
That author shows that he knows prison language.
Six, there is of gasoline prices rising again.
There is talk of gasoline prices rising again.
Seven, the of the note shows that there is a chance of agreeing.
The language of the note shows that there is a chance of agreeing.
Eight, stuttering is a kind of disorder.
Stuttering is a kind of speech disorder.
Nine, there are primitive cultures in the world, but we don't know of any primitive.
There are primitive cultures in the world, but we don't know of any primitive language.
Ten, unfortunately, there was a lot of small in his speech.
Unfortunately, there was a lot of small talk in his speech.
"11. I can't understand the scientific in this article."
I can't understand the scientific language in this article.
"12. The tongue, teeth, and lips are organs."
The tongue, teeth, and lips are speech organs.
"13. Since he doesn't speak Portuguese, he had to use sign."
Since he doesn't speak Portuguese, he had to use sign language.
"14. There are several difficult sounds in the English."
There are several difficult speech sounds in the English language.
End of Lesson 13.